One of Bess's friends that we all remember fondly rather, was a date she had with a guy named Clementine. His name was Clem. So poor Bess, the guy comes to pick her up, and we're all upstairs on the third floor watching her walk to his car in the street. And all of us were going, "Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine."
Bess got along with everybody. I remember back in Ridgewood in the old days, when the Crips and the Bloods ever had problems, Bess was there. And she would say, Crips, Bloods, come on, work this out. You can do it. And they would.
Bess took on that role of the oldest peacemaker, the person to go to for advice, not just when I was 11, 12, 13, but here I am 54, and very often she's still the first phone call that I make when there's a time of need or advice or a sounding board or just let me just bounce this off you.
The best advice I ever received from Bess definitely lands in the parenting column and in the cooking corner. Bess is my go-to gal for all questions regarding those two things and lots of other issues on life.
The best advice I get from Bess is usually in the form of parenting. She is tops in this area.
The best advice I ever got from Bess was she was so patient with me because I just couldn't get how to pass the joint from one to the other, and she's just so nice and quiet. I said, "Joe, thumb to thumb, forefinger to forefinger. That's how you pass it so you don't drop it." And she sat up with me until I got it. Thank you, Bess.
The best advice I ever received from her was, as a mom, to trust my own judgment and pick my battles. That was sound advice that I try to still pay attention to, even in my work life and other parts of my own life.
Some people, when their TV breaks down, they have a go-to. When their computer breaks down, they have a go-to. Bess was my parent go-to because there was nothing I went through with Brennan that she hadn't done with her own children. The best piece of advice I ever got from Bess was dealing with Brennan. We were going through a rough time, and Bess just said to me, "Joe, I have a term of endearment for children when they're that young and when they're children of that age." And I said, "What is that?" She goes, "They're little shits."
One of my fondest memories of Bess is definitely Bess being in our wedding. She was our best woman, and she did a beautiful job. She's always been there for me.
I remember being maybe 13, 14 years old, and she brought home a frosting kit and told me I was going to frost her hair, and we were just going to go for it, see how it came out. And I remember thinking, wow, she really trusts me with this.
Mostly the quiet times, even when I went to Dallas, those times I went and just hung out in the kitchen talking with her, it was just great to kind of be with Bess and get into Bess land for a while.
My fondest memories of Bess were when we were little and we would just hang off of our beds like this and look at each other upside down for hours and hours and talk and laugh, and I still remember those memories as if they were yesterday.
I think the best thing about Bess was just how unintentionally funny she could be. My favorite thing was she was talking about a family in town that they, in among the family was a set of identical twins, and somebody told Beth that the twins were adopted, and just like that she goes, "But they look so much alike."
Bess made my prom dress when I was a junior in high school. Really, it was a beautiful dress and very, very, very loving. Bess shows her love in projects like that, and with her knitting that she does today, it's really just a really wonderful, wonderful thing.
I would have to say, without a doubt, Bess becoming a mother and watching her explosive love when each child was born, and going to all those birthday parties out on Long Island and all the love and craziness of that family life of all those kids. It was all she ever wanted, was to be a mother of a big family, and she is a beautiful, wonderful mother.
She's a wonderful mother. She's a wonderful mother. She couldn't be a better mother. She treats each of her children individually, and she's just a joy as a mother, I think. And her children reflect it. I think her children reflect it.
I also have fond memories of her with her own children, how that was the role she was meant to do so well, and it's evident, as I said, by those great 5 kids: Tim, Kevin, Brian, Andrew, and Aaron.
Growing up, I was the oldest. You can see Mom just immerse herself in raising 5 kids.
Growing up was, in our household, was quite a unique experience.
You know, Mom always wanted a big family, so she says, and it was fun. It was a ton of fun. There were a lot of us. There were a lot of laughs. She always claims that she missed the 80s because she was having kids. Just like missed the 80s, the entire decade. You bring up anything pop culture from the 1980s at all, she's just like, oh, nope, I missed the 80s, I was having kids.
Some good traits that I've picked up from Mom would probably be the love for cooking for a large amount of people.
I definitely received some traits from Mom, most definitely. I think I'm afraid of sirens.
I always have to look around if I hear a siren.
My heart starts pounding. Anytime we heard a siren go by, she goes, oh, I hope everybody's okay.
She possesses the ability to laugh at herself, which is such a strong quality to have. And I get that from her too, I think.
I have a lot of the same kind of scatterbrain thing that she has going on. I think my brain is always moving at 100 miles an hour, and I can't stay on one thing.
My procrastination, probably.
Procrastination, like this video.
I tend to start projects with the best intentions on finishing them.
She couldn't finish anything.
There were an infinite amount of unfinished projects around the house that Mom always started, you know.
My car is always a mess. Andrew called me Best Junior today.
Very much a procrastinator, and so is she.
Not so much in my house, but in my classroom, maybe a little bit of the lack of organizational skills. I have that going on at work.
I think I got a lot of good traits from my mother.
I think that we share a lot of the same passion.
I think I'm a likable person. I've done trips. I've done an Alaskan trip, and I remember one of the guys told me I was the one guy that everyone could get along with.
Andrew is full of
I mean, I may not be anybody's favorite, but I don't think I'm anybody's least favorite either.
I inherited my love of crossword puzzles from Mom, for sure. It's one of my favorite things now, and I first learned to doing them with Mom on Saturday morning.
One thing I've gotten from Mom is love for road trips. Even to this day, she just packs the car up and will take off and drive. And that's something that I love to do too.
I think, maybe I have a similar sense of humor to her. I think we laugh at a lot of the same things. And when we get going, kind of hard for me to stop laughing. I think she can be that way too.
What happened?
Another trait I got from Mom is money frightens me. I hate dealing with money. It stresses me out, and it stresses her out too.
I don't think there's a single person who doesn't like her. She's so friendly. She's so easygoing. She likes to talk. She's just drama-free. She's really easygoing. So I'd like to think that I got that from her.
I think I believe in the good of people. I think I got that from Mom. I think there's something she and I have in common.
I think I'm very close to my family, and I think that's true with everybody else in my family to each other. Started a generation earlier with her and her siblings, and she raised us, I think, the exact same way. And seeing how she is with her siblings, even as a 60-year-old woman, I'm very confident that I'll have that same kind of relationship with my family, and I attribute that mostly to her.
I probably got my love of the beach and the ocean from Mom.
She definitely turned me on to the beach, love of the ocean.
Now, we both share a lot of the similarities in like music and movies taste, and that's really fun.
Music, show tunes.
Mom blasted show tunes growing up. There was probably a 10-year stretch there where that's all she listened to, I think. And it would bring a tear to her eye every time.
Barbara Streisand all the time.
You don't bring me flowers.
I remember years of Phantom of the Opera. And then phase 2 was Les Mis.
Master of the house, quick to catch your eye.
There must have been an 8-year stretch where she would listen to Les Mis and cry.
Rules growing up in the house.
What were the strictest rules growing up? What is that word, rules?
The rules are, there ain't no rules.
Rules are? Growing up, there weren't a lot of rules that Mom laid down.
I did not have any rules growing up.
My brothers didn't have any. They had no rules that they ever had to follow.
There was, no drippies. If we were swimming in the summertime and we were coming in to the house, we could be wet, we just can't be drippy.
Anything in the fridge is up for grabs.
Her strictest rule was probably, when you're 15, you're only allowed to get drunk in the house.
Once you turn 18, you gotta buy mom smokes.
I don't care how much you smoke, just make sure it's upstairs in the bedroom. I mean, so she has some strict rules, that's for sure.
Most people, probably the rule when you're going out late is lock the door when you come in. For us, it was do not lock the door. Do not lock the door. One of your brothers is still out. Like the typical night coming home would be,
You walk in, door was never locked, you go to her bedroom.
and the TV is blasting.
Glasses on, mouth wide open.
Like, Mom, I'm home. Like, what?
Who's home? Who's home? And be like, Brian's home. What time is it? It's 2 o'clock. Okay. Is Tim home yet? I don't know. Okay, go to bed. Good night. Do you want me to turn off the TV? No, leave it on. Do you want me to take off your glasses? No. Do you want me to shut your mouth?
I remember the day, it was a Tuesday, and I pulled Brian and Andrew aside, and I basically said, look, we outnumber her. We can do whatever the we want to do.
But I did have rules that I had to follow. I always thought that that was very unfair, that Andrew was like not that much older than me, and he was on a weekend, could pretty much be gone the whole weekend and we wouldn't know where he was. And I'd want to like stay out past, 10 o'clock, and I wasn't allowed to.
A little background story though, because I was the fourth of 5, but I was the youngest boy. Also, I was twice her size. And I tell Mom that all the time, hey, I didn't have any rules growing up. She gets offended, but now it's on tape for everyone to see.
And so I am a little bitter about the rule situation growing up. I think that Mom, when she thinks back, thinks that she was pretty tough, but I don't think anybody was ever actually grounded ever growing up. I remember mainly from Andrew, because he's not that much older. I just remember a lot of, even if he was told he was grounded, he'd just leave. Nobody ever did anything to stop him.
Mom always says gray hair is a glorious crown worn by a righteous life. And I like that, but the fact is, we drove her crazy.
I still can't believe it that she raised 5 kids.
I don't know if she ever truly knew what she was getting herself into.
I can't imagine. I have 2 kids, and it is hell sometimes, and the idea of having 5 kids kind of, makes me nauseous.
At first it was just these babies around, and then lots of little kids, and I know how hard that is to get them going everywhere. I can't imagine with 5 of us all that little, and then it just got worse as we grew up. As you would think we'd become easier to handle, we were a bunch of hellions.
We drove her mad.
Poor Mom. We caused every single one of those gray hairs. We want to steer clear of Mom's gray hair. She used to be a very sane person, and she is, without question, a less sane person today because of what we put her through.
Being a mom of 2 now, I cannot even imagine how you put up with all those boys. And Erin, but she was easy. They drive me crazy just having 2 with the fights and the yelling and the roughness.
Mom is one tough lady. There was many, having 4 boys, there was many physical fights going on in the house.
A lot of fights.
There were knockdown, drag-out fights that she would physically throw herself in the middle of to break it up. There was bickering. There was always somebody up running around. I got in a lot of fights with Kevin, and I got a lot of fights with Andrew. So my theory is that you fought with the siblings who preceded and succeeded you.
I think Brian's theory is bullshit because I fought with everyone.
It wasn't fair. I was bigger than Andrew. And then by the time that he got bigger than me, I was like, peace, man. Sorry, bro. Love, forgiveness. Mom always knew Andrew was going to be big. We picked on Andrew, and Mom always said, he's going to be bigger than you, and he's not going to take that. And he did, man. He got bigger than us. He likes milk. Kid likes milk. Mom was also the ultimate caregiver. Whether it was just feeding us, there were just a ton, just insatiable appetites, just a ton of us, and she'd go to the grocery store.
It was horrifying and shocking, those grocery shopping bills. We would do Sam's and we would do, I believe, Walmart or maybe Target.
And she'd come in and say, boys, we bring the groceries in, and she'd get on the phone and the internet all at the same time and start her social networking. And we'd go out there and open the back of the van, and it was just grocery bags from floor to ceiling, wall to wall, opening the door, and they're spilling out.